right, Nate, let's talk about our first NBA series, okay? The Miami Heat got eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks 4 games to none. And this is honestly pretty sad for me because I am a big Jimmy Butler fan, but at the end of the day, I kind of seen this coming. And honestly, besides the first game, the Miami Heat lost 107 to 109. But then after that, it was just blowouts by the Milwaukee Bucks. Game two, the Milwaukee Bucks won 132 to 98. Game three, Bucks won 113 to 84. And then game four, the Bucks won 120 to 103. So after that, it was just a bunch of blowouts, Nate. And again, I'm looking at these stats, okay? And I'll start off with the Bucks, okay? The Bucks did a very, very good job. That whole team did a very, very good job. Yeah, Giannis, he averaged 23.5, 15 rebounds, and 7.8 assists. So he really did play like an MVP. Chris Middleton had 21 and a half points, 6.8 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. Again, so he was a very good contributor as well in the playoffs. And then guys like Brooke Lopez, Drew Holiday, Brian Forbes, Bobby Portis, they really did step up, Nate. I think all around the Bucks did a very, very great job. Now, here's what I find very, very interesting. I go to the Heat, right? And their leading scorer was Goran Dragic, okay? He had 16 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 2.8 assists, okay? I look at their leader, right, and Jimmy Butler, 14 and a half points, 7.5 rebounds, 7 assists. The rebounds and assists are good. Where's your points? Okay, and it doesn't seem like anybody else there really did a good job. Um, Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson both averaged 10.3 points per game, and then Tyler Hero averaged below 10. So I really do think like the Miami Heat, simple as this, they didn't do enough scoring, and they didn't stop Giannis and Chris Middleton, which stopping Giannis is really tough. But when you have a superstar like Giannis, he's bound to get his points. What you really got to do is you got to lock down the other guys around him. Okay, because Giannis is a great scorer. He's a great rebounder, but he's a very underrated passer as well, Nate. Okay, and you need to stop his outlets to passing. As simple as that. Chris Middleton, he's a 3-point shooter. Guard that three. It's as simple as that. I look at the stats and I look at Chris Middleton's 3-point percentage. He had a 40% 3-point percentage. That's way too much for somebody like Chris Middleton, who's a 3-point shooter. You need to kind of stuff him on that 3-point line. And then you look at everybody else, field goal percentage wise. Giannis had 45, Middleton had 49. Drew Holiday, I believe. No, I'm sorry. Brooke Lopez had a 0.585, which is 58 and a half, basically. Drew Holiday, I think it was, had 48%. So overall, from the field, they were doing a great job. As for the Miami Heat, when I look at them from the field, 42, 45, 29, 39, 37, 31. Like, it's just inconsistency right there. And then you look at 3-point shooting, 34%, 26%, 27% for Jimmy Butler, like 37%, 31%. Like, and you have good 3-point shooters. Goran Dragic is a good 3-point shooter. Duncan Robinson, a good 3-point shooter. Tyler Hero, a good 3-point shooter. So where are they? As simple as this. Last year, the Miami Heat showed up and they showed out. This year, Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks got their revenge. It's simple as that, Nate. Okay, anything you could possibly look at, the Bucks did better. Adebayo had like 9 rebounds per game. Other than that, when you really look at it, Nate, like Giannis alone was a challenge enough. Regardless of Chris Middleton, regardless of Drew Holiday, Giannis alone was a challenge enough. But then when you get all those other guys around him contributing as well, and you give Giannis different options, now, so you're telling me not only can I score, but I can also pass the ball as well to these guys because you're not guarding him right. And that's exactly what he did. He took advantage of any openings that he found in that defense, and he capitalized on it. Miami Heat is a good defensive team, but this series, it just didn't show up defensively nor offensively. Jimmy Butler was not the same leader that he was last year. So with that being said, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, they got to go back to the drawing board because you can't keep playing like this, okay? You guys have beat Giannis before. Last year, you eliminated him from the playoffs. Regardless of whether it was no fans or not, it was still Giannis, and you eliminated him in the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay? Do it again. We expected you to do it again. You didn't. It's as simple as that. Not only does it show you like how different like the year is, but it also shows you how much that Giannis evolved. He got a second chance at beating this team, and he did it. Not only did he beat them, and not only him and the Milwaukee Bucks beat them, but they demolished them. Okay, obviously Giannis was the leader, but guys like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, they stepped up when they needed to, and they did a great job. And I got to give the Bucks all the credit in the world. They just played a better game overall than the Miami Heat. I don't got to tell you stats to realize that. Besides Game 1, the Bucks ended up kicking the living snot out of them. So with that being said, I wish the Miami Heat the best of luck in the offseason. As for the Bucks, congratulations on getting to the second round. I wish you the best of luck as well then, when whoever you play.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the first 3 games. I watched the highlights of the 4 games. I didn't really watch that one. Um, and yeah, Mario, they the Miami Heat just did not show up. I mean, the first game they actually played a really good game in the first game. I'll give them that. They kept it close.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
both teams played really well. But what were you gonna say?
sorry to cut you off, but they played a winner of the Celtics and the Nets.
Okay, all right. So most likely it's gonna be a Nets because let's be honest, the Celtics are gonna beat the Nets. But and that's from a Celtics point of view. But look, aside from that first game, Mario, the Miami Heat just did not show up. And I always say there's a difference between choking and just flat out not showing up. They flat out just didn't show up. You know what I mean? I know we talk about choking, like, yeah, like you blew like a 3-1 lead or 28-3 and things like that. They didn't have that to blow, dude. They didn't have any of that to blow. They just flat out did not show up. They
Right.
like, and unfortunately that cost them. Now next year, will they be a playoff contender? I'm confident that they will be. I mean, not a lot of people thought they'd be a playoff contender this year, and they ended up being them. But now you got to go back to the drawing board next year. You know, have a better game plan. Be a better team overall. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to go to next year's playoffs and do that. You know what I mean? Like you're not just going to go to next year's playoffs and flat out not even show up at all. That's just not. That's just not okay. These fans didn't come back here to see you get swept. You know what I mean? It's just really unfortunate. But I do wish them the best of luck. Not too much luck because again, you shared conference with the Celtics, so I can't wish you too much luck. As for the Bucks, they played a really great game, Mario. They played a really great 4 games, and um now they have to face the winner between the Celtics and the Nets, which again, we all know who's winning that series. So most likely, if they face the Nets, they're gonna have on their A game, because they're facing a menace in this league. If they face the Celtics, if somehow the Boston Celtics pull off a miracle, somehow it's not gonna happen, but somehow if they do, just do what you did to the Heat. Just make me salty and just bust them out in 4 games. That's all you gotta do. Then you get to hear me being salty. But as for the Brooklyn Nets, which is most likely who they're gonna face, they're gonna have to play their best game because they're facing an absolute menace in this league in the Brooklyn Nets. You gotta face Kyrie, KD, and James Harden on one team. That's a nightmare if I couldn't say so myself. So, but overall, Mario, like you said, Giannis showed up, Chris Middleton showed up, Drew Holiday impressed me. He did a really good job too. So I do give him a lot of props for that. The Milwaukee Bucks played an absolutely great 4 games, so I do wish them the best of luck and congratulations to them in the second round. As for the Miami Heat, Mario, they got to do better. They got to go to the drawing board. They got to have a better game plan for next season, and we'll see what happens for them. But with that being said, best of luck to both teams moving forward, and we'll just see what happens with them, Mario.